jump in?
Jump in. We're jumped in.
We're in?
Give it up.
We're there.
Yeah.
Welcome in. No nothings. This is Ray.
I'm Mike. It's number 26.
26. We're coming up on 30, baby. Like fast.
It's pretty good. Did anything interesting happen to you?
Man, no, not since last weekend. Well, last weekend went to that LSU game, watch them get stomped, and then this weekend didn't get to go, but what a win they had over Florida, at Florida, which was cool.
I didn't even watch it.
I know you were biking all day,
I was
huh?
biking all day on my new bike.
What kind of bike is it?
Don't get me lying. It's S-Works. What is it called?
The mountain bike.
Specialized. It's I think they call it a rock hopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what you did this weekend. You had some fun.
Oh, well, it wasn't this weekend. It was this
week. It was this week.
I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday and drove all the way to Atlanta. Then got into a vehicle after 9 hours of driving and drove 7 hours to Loretto, Kentucky, to go to Maker's Mark right here. To there.
Switch over to you. There you go.
Over to me. Go to Maker's Mark and look right there.
Mike Hinkle. Look at that.
My name's on the bottle right there.
Always wanted to see my name in lights.
Yep, that's it. And this is the ambassador tour we got to go on because 6 years ago when we were at Space Academy, we put in for them to make us a barrel and for the ambassador barrel. So like a month ago they said your barrel's ready. Come get your bottles and buy your bottles and come take a tour. So we went and took a tour, and it was really awesome. I had a really good time. They kind of have the tour set up to where it looks like an old-timey distillery, but the factory really is somewhere else.
Pretty modern?
You don't see the modern stuff. You see the non-modern stuff, but they actually do like all like the stuff. I mean, how modern can you make it? The only modern thing about making whiskey is the packaging part.
Right, yeah.
So, like, they have where you go in to see them because they hand dip. They say they hand dip all of these bottles.
They do because they're all different. It's not.
They're all
different.
different.
It'd be the same wax if they didn't. They do hand dip them.
They take you into a room where there's a line of bottles coming through, and there's a couple of ladies standing there just like dipping them, and they've got stuff because it's 350 degrees. The wax.
Yeah.
And they dip it, and they got like protective stuff on it. It's just coming down a line, and they're just dipping it and putting it back on there like this, twisting it, put it back on there. But that isn't the only line. That's like I was telling.
I wonder if that little process adds to the cost of the bottle. Like you're paying somebody, you've got to run machinery, you've got to have the wax, you've got to do all these things just to add an accessory to the bottle, which is a cool accessory for Maker's Mark.
It is cool because it kind of pops out at you on the shelf. But I like Maker's Mark, and But here's the thing. So, like, you go through it, you see where all the stuff goes together. You see the big, like, 2-story, you're up top, and you're standing there where it ferments. Mm-hmm. And you're in the room where it ferments in these old, huge barrels.
Yeah.
You know, made out of wood containers that are huge. And it's bubbling, and it's all in, there's, like, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's, like, 8 or 10 of these huge 15-foot round containers that are made out of wood that it's fermenting in.
Yeah.
And like you can smell it in the air. I mean, it just kind of hits you. It's like a smell of whiskey and fermentation. It smells like yeast.
Does it stink?
It doesn't really stink. It smells yeasty.
Yeah.
And like it's bubbling. It's all bubbling in certain ones because they go to different ones.
Different processes and steps in the.
But it was really neat to see that. And then you go into like where they store the barrels. They have one right in the middle of the place. But somebody told me that they have a ton of those barns like all over Kentucky. Like they ship this stuff all over the world. They're not just having one place.
Oh yeah, Maker's Mark's huge.
Yeah, that's they. But what they show you is just the process has been set up right there to show you the process.
Right.
And then you go into you go in all these different buildings, steps of the process, and then like one of them is the cellar that they had built. And it's cold in there. Yeah. And they've got like rock walls behind glass. It's really nice.
Bring a jacket or anything?
No, they not. It's not like that bad. You don't stay in there that long. But
yeah.
In that building, they told us about how they have like 1,001 combinations with their staves that they put in the barrel.
Yeah.
And then they let it sit, and it's always 10 staves, and it's just a combination of different like wood that they put in there to give the different flavors that they have of the ones that they sell.
Right.
And there's like she said there was a combination of 1,001, but we didn't really do the math.
Yeah.
But it just
trust. I'm gonna trust you on this one.
Trust you on that
yeah.
because I don't want to do the math.
Yeah.
But it was neat. And then we got to, and the barrel, like that, you think, you want to be cynical and think, well, you just show up like 6 years later and they give you whatever's there. No, it's actually your barrel.
Oh, it's actually out of
This is actually out of the barrel. Because it has, like, because we bought a bunch of these. You're only allowed to buy 9 because there's so many.
How much they
people
charge you for a bottle?
$40.
Okay, so about the same as the store.
$39.95.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So, and it's a liter. So on the back, it's engraved on it here where it says what batch it is and all that, and they all line up, all the bottles. So they just get them all and put them all together and then put your name on it and put the ambassador number on it. It's really neat. You can sign up online to do the ambassadorship, and then for some reason now, 6 years ago you didn't, but now they invite you to do it. So I guess you got to sign up.
So in 2016, y'all got the thing in motion to get the barrel going, right?
Yeah.
And y'all just knew 6 years later, sometime around 6 years later.
I kind of forgot about it.
I mean, yeah, a lot happens in 6 years.
Yeah.
So when he contacted, he's like, "Hey, we got to go to Kentucky to go to Maker's Mark." We're like, "What?
I was like,
shit!
Yeah, that's right. We did do that. That's awesome." So yeah, we did it. It was really great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd like to do something like that one time. I've been to some breweries and distilleries, but the Maker's Mark one sounds like a lot of fun. Did you?
It only took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to go through
the whole tour.
Yeah, so like I drove all the way to Atlanta, then we drove all the way to Kentucky, spent the night, got up, did the tour, drove all the way back to Atlanta, then I drove all the way back here.
How far a drive is it from Kentucky to Atlanta?
About 6 hours.
So that was a 14-hour drive for you because you just drove.
Yeah, the first day.
How long did you stop? Just stopped and dropped everybody off and got in your vehicle and coming back, or?
Well, I left at 4:00 in the morning Wednesday. Got there, we left. Me and Joe left and went to Kentucky. Stayed in a hotel that night. There's a Hampton Inn like 2, 5, 10 minutes away. Like a Hampton Inn's on the road to stay at.
There's always a Hampton Inn handy. I like Hampton Inn.
And we're talking about in this town. It's like a small town.
What part of Kentucky is it?
Loretto.
That's where Maker's Mark's made. Loretto.
Yeah, Loretto. That's a tiny little town. It's been they've been making it there since 1953. They bought that land in 1953 for $35,000.
How many acres is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's a lot, but they also own a bunch of stuff around it too because they've
hundreds of acres for $35,000.
See like the real factory lines where there's people like the bottles are because we only saw one line. It's the line where you would like. They just show you.
That's the line for the ambassadors, right? That everybody's got. They're probably all that day doing those tours and giving those.
She even said that they rotate the people from the big lines because they make more than one size bottle, obviously.
Yeah, 750s and pints.
There's different.
Do they make pints and I've never seen little.
I don't think so.
I've never seen a little pint or half pint like that you could buy for $3.99 or $6.99.
You think a different company might make that? Like they get it and they bottle it for.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Maker's Mark.
Do you think that these companies that have the little bottles on airplanes actually bottle it for airplanes? They probably buy it in bulk and then they have a bottle.
Or they just ship, hey, here's 20 barrels, make your airplane bottles.
Some company does that for.
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a good nerdy question to find out for no reason at all.
Yeah, but
and I'm just like, give me 2. How many can I order on the plane? Well, nobody's ever asked that, sir. Well, I'll have 12. Well, we'll start with 2.
Yeah,
and then we'll go from there.
Those little airplane.
If you want to be chugging alcohol to me this whole flight, be my guest.
Those little airplane bottles come in handy though. They're perfect sized for it's exactly a drink. Like
oh yeah,
poured in there. It's exactly a shot. So did you you saw the Elon and Twitter deals back on?
No, it is
back on. He's like, okay, I'll buy it for $44 billion.
Is Trump back on Twitter?
Trump is not back on Twitter.
You think they'll put him back on Twitter?
I don't think after all this shit that's going on.
They won't let him back on Twitter.
I can't imagine. Like,
doesn't he have his own
Truth Social?
Anything named Truth.
Yeah. Hey, we called it Truth. Obviously, we're telling the truth here.
Yeah.
And only the truth. It's literally called Truth Social. What do you want?
It's a bad name. It's just a bad name. It could have been so many cooler names.
Well, what's funny about it is they actually kick people off and don't let people on there who have opposite trains of thought. So it's like really.
Oh, they did that.
Yeah, it's like super ironic.
Oh well, that's no fun.
Yeah, but that's the only place where Trump can where he can put his things out about how he's been
What do you think Twitter's going to do? Well, the news is out already. What do you think is going to happen to the stock?
It's going to go
with the stock market just completely being a nuisance right now and just going down.
Twitter's going to go up when Elon owns it, just because of the Elon touch.
Yeah,
I think. Don't you think?
Well, since we already know about it, it's already popped up maybe a little bit. But when they get the final yes, that's when
they have the final yes. But I mean, it's not obviously
prices are already built in once the news hits the fan. You know,
he's
what I mean?
buying it for 40. He's instantly making it worth $44 billion. So that adds value to the stock right there. Right?
Oh yeah,
because it's only worth like say $30 billion.
Yeah.
He's buying it above market value for the fact that he just wanted to, or says he wanted to do something for democracy, which I believe he does.
Does that make it a bad investment then? If you buy something overpriced?
Yeah, he knows that.
What's he gonna do with it? Let it roll?
Let freedom ring is supposed to be the deal. Like, yeah, it's supposed. That's
freedom.
That's supposed to be the whole crux of it. Is like I'm not gonna silence people because they say things that I don't agree with. Right? Like, who?
I can't believe that happens anyway on any of these platforms.
It shouldn't, right?
Hey,
but I mean, I know they're private businesses, but like when you're the judge and juror of what truth is, like you can see things getting a little convoluted, right? Like if I only get to determine what my truth is, and anything that I don't think, so if I don't agree with something, I just say like it's not true. And I'm not saying there wasn't a ton of bullshit going on all the social media.
Obviously,
like golly, like I mean they're just, but I think it's up to the consumer or the user to know. Like I feel like I'm smart enough to know like, oh, this is bullshit. Like if you read something that sounds insane.
Well, I posted a meme on Facebook that had the old white Bronco being chased by 40 cops, and on the meme it said how many IRS agents did they hire?
87,000.
It said 87,000 IRS agents coming for my $601 in my Venmo account.
Yeah.
And then underneath it, when I posted it, said, "This isn't true. These facts aren't blah, blah, blah." And then it came that it is right. They are going to do that.
Yeah. So but they still left it that it's not true.
They still left it that it wasn't true, but they are going to. They are.
But what's not true about it is that the 87,000 agents aren't going to be devoted to chasing us around for $600 on Venmo. That's the rest of the story, right?
Yeah,
so it's not all the way true.
It's just supposed to be funny.
It is just funny.
I'm not trying to be News Corp. You know?
Yeah. I get it.
I'm just trying to do a funny meme that ties it because it looks funny. It's like all of these IRS agents care about my $601.
That's kind of my point. Like it's up to me. I saw that when you posted that, and clearly I was like, I got to chuckle because it's funny, right? Like but I wasn't like Mike's trying to put exact facts out on the internet. That's not what I was.
I'm not an exact fact kind of guy.
Yeah, I was like, obviously it's
I'm
a joke.
all about the laughs.
So I think it's funny that that social media gets it, but you could put a meme. Now it's obviously skewed and biased, right? Like you could put a meme out that was completely bullshit about the right, and they would leave it and not even fact check it.
Yeah.
Just complete and utter horse shit, and they would just leave it. Now, there's a reason I just don't like politics. It's not fun to me. And I was talking about that earlier with my folks. I was like, look at these people that are running for senators, like all over. It's just such a bad batch of people. Like none of these people are senators. Like right, like they're not what I would consider on left or right. They're just not. I'm like, I'd say like 80% of these people are like majorly unqualified to do the job they're trying to do. Not smart enough, not wise enough, no 30,000 foot view. But because no one really smart and wise wants to get into politics.
No shit.
Why
would you? If you're smart and wise in life, why would you want to throw your hat in the ring of this day and age of politics? It's a mess. And it's also just like...
And it's gross.
It's gross. They dig into your past. They look up something you said when Facebook first started, and they're like, "Oh, you said this." And it's like, well, it's not that bad. What are you talking about?
I've always said if I ever ran for office, which I hate politics on one hand, on the other hand, I'm like, man, these people are just so incompetent and stupid. So like, you're on the fence of like, you want to do something to help sometimes, but I mean, I never would run.
I got one for you.
But
I got where you can run.
What's that?
Mayor of Shooterant.
Oh yeah, I could definitely. I might. But the mayor of Shooterant does a fine job. It's not the mayor of Shooterant.
I'm not. See, here's the problem with politics. I say that, then everybody reads into thinking I know I don't even know who the mayor of Shooterant is. Then everybody reads into Mike doesn't like the mayor of Shooterant. Everybody get on their soapbox and talk about how Mike hates the mayor of Shooterant and he wants someone else to run and blah blah blah. And it's like I just said that, and I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's because that's how politics is. But I felt like if I was going to ever run, I would just get up there the first day I announced my candidacy and be like, hey, my name's Ray Creasy. I'm running for Congress, blah, blah, blah. And I go, by the way, let's just start. We'll just start real quick in kindergarten. We're going to go kindergarten through now. I'll give you all the kind of damning things I've done so we can get all that out of the way. So, like in 1994, I did some blow right here. I got high on this day and went to school. I skipped class this day. I caused this trouble in college. Later on when I got married, I made this bad decision. I did this bad thing. I went to jail here. I got in a fight here. Just kind of get it all out on the table and then just be like, you guys have any questions about anything from 30 years ago or 20 years ago we need to get out now? It's kind of like a rap battle. You just take all the ammo from your opponents away.
Then they're just like, what's your stance on such and such?
Yeah.
And you're like,
well, you just
what do you say?
Well, you give them your stance. I think
my stance on such and such is this. Well, don't you think that is a non-woke way of talking about it?
The way I think everybody should approach politics would be like, hey, so like just ask me how I feel about something and I'll tell you. And I'll tell you what I plan to do to fix it. And I'll tell you if it's important. And something may not even be important to me. I may just go, you may bring up an issue and I go, yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Like the truth, hey, I don't really care. I'm not going to.
What do you all think? If you vote me in, whoever tells me the most about what they want to do now in this state, that's what I'll do.
Well, that's what ends up happening is you end up. I do really think some people go to Washington with good intentions, right? Like
I think they go to Washington and they go, how can I make more money? And when this is over with,
I'm saying no. I'm not
a multi-millionaire.
No, I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying
a lot of them do.
No, I know, but the point I'm making is I think some people go with noble intentions and something about that place just sucks you into the abyss.
They get the fact sheet and they're like, "Ooh, you don't want to do that," or "Ooh, that's not how we play the game."
Yeah, that's not how you. Yeah, that's right. You start learning.
It's like there's rules, bro.
You start learning the game, right? Like if you might go into like wrestling or music or some, you might go into some kind of line of entertainment. You don't really understand the business, right? You got to you don't understand how it shakes out until you're in it.
Kevin Spacey show, The House of Cards. I think that probably had it pretty close to the chest on how things get done, where they just are like, hey, if you do this, I'll push and pass this bill for you. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and we'll stick it in the line.
I totally agree, and I think some noble people go up there. That somebody that comes out of the business world or something, they're like, I'm going to do something in politics. I'm going to make a difference, and like, by God, I'm going to make it. And they
don't last.
And they get up there, and like the drinks start, and the cigars start, and the money starts, and the lobbyists start, and you're like, and they're like, well, hey, you're already anti-abortion, right? You're like, well, yeah, I'm pro-life, or whatever the case. And they're like, well, look, here's $500,000. We just really would. It would mean a lot to us if you voted like this, or we really need a bridge in Kentucky.
Yeah, and guess what?
Here's $1 million.
The people that are going to do that bridge are a company that trades on the stock market. So when they get that, just the little tip there, all that kind of insider trading. They don't say it, but you put two and two together.
You go, yeah, the only company that does that works, this publicly traded company. And if they got that $6 billion contract, that could mean a lot.
That could mean
the value of stock.
Yeah, and it helps the economy.
Really, you don't have to do anything except vote for them to get the job.
And then buy some.
So it might start with like a little bit like you're like, I'm not really compromising my values that much, and
I'm getting things done for the people.
Things done, and then I think it just kind of de-escalates into madness. Really, it's
got to be the town.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got to be those fourth dimensional reptilians that run the whole thing in that town.
Could it be that something or someone gets a hold of these people and everyone goes up there and becomes jaded because everyone goes up there and becomes richer? Like
everybody gets richer.
You don't make $174,000 a year for 10 years and have $12 million.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
The math just don't check out.
If everybody did that I know that made that doesn't happen.
You damn sure don't make $174,000 a year and have $38 million at the end of 5 years.
I found this app where you can look at like what Congress and senators and everybody's buying on the stock market.
Yeah, it's almost always like 13% returns, if not more.
Yeah, and it shows their return, like their percentage rate of return that they've gotten in the last year or whatever, and it's always, these people are better than Warren Buffett.
They're the best.
But let me tell you this, I go on there and I look at something, and I go on Webull and I look it up, and at the bottom it says, you cannot trade this stock. And I'm like, oh, why not? Well, it doesn't give an explanation. I look on the app. I go to the next one. And I go on there, and it's like, you cannot trade this stock. It's not all. It's not all of them, but it's a lot of them. And maybe somebody can educate me on that.
Well,
educate me on that,
that's
because that's
wild.
Odd to me that I can't buy the same stock that they're buying on most of them. I'm just gonna say most of them.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
That's real bananas.
It's aggravating too, because they're winners.
Oh yeah, they're winners.
They're winners. It's all rigged. It's all rigged.
They couldn't consistently pick winners when it's never even their chosen field. It's not like they came out of finance into politics, right? They came out of like being an attorney or a plumber, and they're in politics, or a bartender. Now all of a sudden they know all the inside information.
Right. They just know where the deals are going down. They hear it through.
And who's to say? Look, I don't.
And that's illegal.
And I don't know.
Illegal.
I feel like in my heart,
Or it's illegal for us.
Yeah, I feel like in my heart I would be better than that. But look, we're all fallible.
Oh, come on, man. You'd be better than that if you had a chance to let's say you had 20 grand to put down on something, and you knew somebody was like, some deals, like the chips thing was going. Well, no, it's just like Nancy Pelosi's husband on Nvidia. Mm-hmm. Was that what it is? They were going to start doing some kind of new chip thing, and he bought like $5 million worth of it. And then the day before it happened, he pulled all of his money out at a loss. And they asked him why he did that. And they said because they didn't want to catch any flack about it. And it was, because of the rumors. And it was like, there's no rumor. That you all knew what was going to happen. And your husband dumped $5 million into it. And to get out of being prosecuted about it, he yanked his money out at a loss the day before they got the chip thing going on.
Yeah.
And the stock went bloop.
Because everybody was talking about
Everybody was talking about it. They got caught.
Y'all got caught.
I think that's still them getting caught.
It is them getting caught.
But it doesn't matter. They're above the law.
They're above the law.
And I'm probably going to get...
So, yeah.
I'm probably going to get suicided.
Are you asking me, do I think I'm better than that? The answer is yes. I do think I'm better than that. But the reality is, if you face that situation... I don't know, right? Because you don't know... You really don't... Like, you kind of know who you are in your core. But
Ray.
Huh?
No one's going to find out.
Well, I know you.
And
what's integrity, though? Integrity is what you do when no one can find out.
That's right.
Integrity is
no one's going to find out
who you are in the dark, right? I know no one's. But I don't.
For some reason, this memo came across your desk that such and such Nasdaq's going to get some kind of contract, and it's like 20 cents.
It's a hard thing to pass up.
And it's going to go to 50. What do you do?
It's a hard thing to pass up.
Hard thing to not do when you know.
Yeah, you're not going to get caught. Even if you did get caught, you're not going to be in trouble.
Slap on the hand.
But everything,
the fines are less than what you made.
But here's the deal, dude. Here's the deal. Every decision you make from at least the age of, say, 16 on is who you are as a person. So every time you're making a fucked up decision, you're saying, I'm willing to compromise a little bit of my humanity.
I've always got, like, I've been in situations where I've gotten the wrong change, and I went back and gave them their money back.
Me
at
too.
A store.
Yeah, me too.
Because I can't deal with that kind of.
And
I don't want that on me.
In my conscience, I like
my conscience is like, I'm just like,
Now look, I've made a lot of wrong decisions in my life. I'll say that openly. But I'll also say this: I made every one of those wrong decisions with a clear head.
On accident?
No, on purpose.
Oh, on purpose. Well,
not on accident.
Well, I'm just saying.
Totally thought I knew what I was doing. I'm willing to face the consequences for these actions or whatever, and I'm willing to take my chances and do it because that's what because I'm not blaming the devil or politics or anything else. It's me. I did that and I can own it. It's something that I feel like I could explain. I don't have a trouble explaining it. Maybe you don't agree with it or maybe you think it's fucked up, but I did it anyway. But for the most part, try to make good decisions. But I think you get up there, you just get around more chances to make fucked up decisions.
I think it becomes easier because everyone else is doing it and they're like, dude,
correct.
What are you doing?
Yeah, correct. You're like the oddball.
This is why we're here.
You're the oddball with integrity, right?
Right.
You're in a room full of people with no integrity.
And they all go, hey, everybody, just want to let you know that this is going to happen. And then everybody gets up and walks out and you're like, did they just say that this is going to, if I just do this, I'm going to make $1 million?
Yeah.
And everybody's just going to go make $1 million. Yeah,
but how do you
I don't even know if it's like that.
Take the money,
but it seems like that.
It's kind of like that.
Seems like that.
I think take the money thing out of it. More becomes about like making decisions that aren't really you, right? Like that aren't or voting a way that you're not comfortable, or voting present, right? So you don't have to make a decision. It's just leaving your integrity out there.
Well, I was just kind of saying, like, I never made a decision where I tried to like goof someone over on purpose. Like
Right.
later you find out that the thing that you did
Was not. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
that wasn't right, and you just then 5 years later, I'm driving down the road and I'm going like this. I'm going, and somebody looks over at me and goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Oh, I'm having a conversation with myself about something I did 5 years ago that I'm not over."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I do that too." And I'm like, "Oh, good. I look like an idiot."
100%. That's why I was saying. No, I was saying the decisions I made might have been bad decisions, but they weren't immoral decisions or decisions that hurt other people. Right?
My theory is just go through life and try not to hurt people.
Try to help people if you can. Like
While also helping yourself.
Yeah.
Above all, I mean, charity starts at home, really. When you got when you're trying to make it.
Oh, for sure.
If I had the money Elon made, I'm sure all the things that he does, he has a lot of things.
But I'm sure he does a ton of philanthropic stuff. A ton
of it.
Yes.
Because you got to do that to clear your conscience. It's like you do all this work and you have all this money, and once you get to a certain point where you've made this money, the money just keeps coming.
Oh yeah.
If you're not spending, you're making. And,
Yeah.
and nobody ever became a millionaire by spending all their money.
Yeah.
That's not how you do it.
You don't save your way. We talked about that before. You don't save your way to becoming a millionaire either. You got it's big moves.
Once these big moves happen, and then it starts just snowballing.
It's an avalanche.
And then you're like, oh, I need to start building wells in Africa or any of these other countries so people have water.
Wouldn't you feel bad not doing everything you could for people? Like,
I think I would just do. I know this.
I
know this sounds like this is gonna sound like that. Like, oh, Mike's such a great dude, but I really do think if I had $50 million, I would spend my life like helping people.
Me too.
Big groups of people with my money.
Well, sure. What else you gonna do? Sit on it?
What
like
else am I gonna do?
Count it?
Like, what am I? Yeah, what do we do? Put it in a big vault and swim in it?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do with it?
I mean, I could spend a lot of it, but
I am gonna buy a sports car.
30 of them. I love cars. I do.
I wouldn't
cars.
even buy. That's too much to take care of. I'm minimalist. Even if I had the money,
I would. That cars.
What are you gonna be like Jay Leno and have 10 like warehouses full of 100 cars?
I love cars and like
have a staff that waxes them,
like for sure.
Starts them up every day,
for sure.
Cranks them every day for you because you can't do it.
Yep.
Oh, I really do. Speaking of,
I would definitely have. I would have a guy who took care of my rides, but I would have so many rides. That would be the one thing people are like. People would have called me going through a midlife crisis or saying that I was showing off. That would be
through a money crisis.
That'd be my show. I'd be like, I just have too much money. I can't spend it all, so I spent $4 million on cars.
Could you have John go to warehouse number 8 and get the 550 1955 Spider out for me and bring it over to the house so I can take it out to dinner tonight? Thank you very much.
Correct. That's some of the fun stuff you can do with your money. And everybody's got their thing they like. I just like cars. I like cars a lot.
Yeah,
I
do like,
but
cars,
I don't like. But look,
I'm too poor to like cars.
Yeah, me too. But at this point, I am. For these first 45 years, I have been. But if I came into 50 or 100 million, I would certainly. But like, see, I'm not like a big house guy. I can just have a regular. I can have a regular house. You know, I can have the same. I'd be in the same house I'm in. I like my house a lot.
Let me ask you this: if you did have that money, would you like buy a big huge house, like a mansion for all your kids and everyone to live in all the time as grown people? Or
I would just buy them their own. I'd just buy them their own.
Let them live their lives.
I'd just buy them their own like $300,000 or $400,000 regular house. Or if you want to buy a $1.6 million house, I'll be giving you $300,000 or $400,000. You can you can figure it out, right? But this is what I'm willing to give you for a home, like, because that's plenty. You're one person, and like if you bought a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,600 square foot house, that's more than, and it's paid for. I think that's more than enough.
Right.
Now, someone like my daughter might want something. That might not be enough for her, right? But like, I think she's pretty bougie.
I like motorcycles.
I do too.
I like motorcycles, and I like living in places that you can just be like, hey, 5-foot walls at zeros. Let's go. We're surfing tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Like, I like doing that, even though I'm like way too big to surf now. I have to get like a 57 Chevy to surf on.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to have like one of those big, huge boards that's like this thick. Almost like a paddle board. Get out there and surf on a paddle board.
You know what's strange about me is that I love cars, but like most people who love cars are like gearheads and they love to like work on them. I don't want to fucking touch one.
No, I don't want to work on them. I just want to drive it.
I don't want to work on it. I don't want to take the engine out and rebuild it. I don't want it to be 80% complete and I'm going to finish the rest. No, I want it customized, vintage, brand new paint, brand new floor, no
I
problems.
want to drive it.
Yeah, if it's got an electrical issue, if it's a spark plug problem, I'm calling somebody.
I'm calling my guy.
Yeah, I'm calling my guy.
And he's coming to the house.
So,
and fix
but most car people, they really are gearheads. I don't really know shit. I know the difference. I know engines and displacement and horsepower and the years and all that. Like, cause I'm kind of a nerd about that type of stuff. As far as working on them, I mean, I probably could. I'm sure I could, but I don't care at all.
I don't care either.
I don't care.
Work on them.
Yeah.
I want to be able to just jump in.
Just jump in and go.
Going.
I want to jump in it and go. I don't want a bunch of projects and that.
My favorite car.
But like, I think Jay Leno's probably. I think he's a little bit of a gearhead.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I
don't know if he works on them, but I think he probably might.
He probably does work on them.
And I don't even really want to watch him.
He has a motorcycle that's a jet engine and he got out of a helicopter.
That's crazy as hell.
It's one of those jets out of a helicopter.
He's got.
He melted the front of somebody's Lamborghini in L.A. and had to buy him a new car, or buy him the front of their car.
How did he melt it with his?
Because it's a jet engine in the back of the motorcycle. They pulled up behind him and he took off, and the heat from the jet engine in it melted the front of the car.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
but I would have the same setup where you have the big steel building that could house like 50 cars. Yeah, it would just be full of cars and then vintage instruments in the corner, and it's just shit I want to look at. I can't even play the instruments. I just love them.
I just love instruments too.
Yeah,
I love guitars.
But you can play. I mean, I can dick around on them, I guess, but like can't really play anything.
Every room in my house, there's a guitar. There's one there. In the living room, there's one, and then in the bedroom, obviously, in my closet, there's like 8. Yeah. And there's more guitars in my closet than clothes.
So yeah, so other than the cars, I'd buy stuff like this. Like I'd buy I buy records, and I buy. I'm into music stuff and cars. That's what I like. So that's probably what I spend my money. I could sleep on like a twin bed, like shit like that doesn't matter. I don't need
it. It would just be really nice. It'd be a nice one.
Yeah.
It'd be like I went to a pretty swank hotel. And the sheets in it were so awesome. I was like, I got to go find these sheets online. And
did you find them?
Well, I found some like them, but I didn't want to pull the trigger and buy them. They were kind of expensive. I bet. But I was like, man, these feel amazing. And they had like a down comforter that wasn't like a down comforter you get on Amazon for $30. It was like a fucking down comforter that was cool.
Yeah, a real down comforter ain't $30.
Cool and warm at the same time, and like. Touched your skin. It's like, oh my gosh, and like the sheets were so. I don't know. I can't. I don't even.
I've been in those hotels. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was just like, I laid there all morning, and I was just like, oh.
You just don't want to get out. The pillows are so perfect.
I gotta get online. I'm like looking at the tags, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the right kind of machinery that would wash these and keep them all right.
So worst job I ever had in my life when I got back from basic training and advanced training for the military. I was like, well, I got to get a job because I was just in the National Guard. It's gonna be a weekend thing. And I was going to college. I was like, so my first job back from the military. So I'd been in the military training in carpentry and masonry. So I'm doing all this like building houses, and that's what we did actually to graduate is you build a small little house. And so I'm doing this all kind of like manual labor. Well, I get a job at McRae's, which I don't know if you remember McRae's, but it was like Dillard's type of thing. Yeah. And I got a job in the linen department. So my first job, I was an 18-year-old male. My first job was ranching and then the military. But then when I came back, that job, so my third job, I guess. I was an 18-year-old male selling sheets and shit. So I spent
these sheets.
Dude, I spent all day talking to like middle-aged women about thread count and shit. I literally wanted to eat a bullet every day of my.
Are you serious? You didn't make it fun,
Mike? There was no. You have no idea how far this was out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
like,
man.
I mean, I'm like literally talking to grandmother. Think about, I'm like an 18-year-old fucking raging party animal. Like, I mean,
These sheets are great to throw up on.
Yeah,
they'll wash really well, Grandma.
This is like the height of like, I mean, just got done with military, all this testosterone laced shit, man. I'm just like I'm just about the action. I just want action. I'm 18 years old. I want to go all the time. Let's just drink and fight and get loud. And here I am.
Get laid.
And then, yes, oh my God. And then from 1 to 9 every day, I put my suit on, and for
it's 400 thread count,
and
Egyptian cotton.
For $4.75 an hour, I went in McRae's and I talked about sheets. And I mean, it was a spiral of. I mean, every day I would just regret and like anger and like I was like, I mean, that's the only time in my life I've ever had to like, what am I doing? And like, what's happening here? When I quit,
What did you do after that?
I got into restaurants, which is what I've done ever since.
Yeah.
But I got into restaurants and was way more fun. But just because I was around people all my, at that time point I was around people your age because I was working like an hourly employee and stuff. And it's just way more fun. And you're around drinking and working around good food and booze. It was nothing like selling sheets. When I put my notice in, I was like I was the top linen salesman, no one close,
Obviously.
and I was pretty top in every department. So when I go to quit, he was like,
So you were gung-ho about it.
I was just good because I try to be good at things, right? Like,
That's what I've always done.
Like-
You just try, like whatever you're doing, you want to do the best you can at it.
I said I hated my
learn.
life, but I still do at work. I'm going to do. If you have me doing something with work, I'm going to do everything I can to be the best. Like, because I want to, or a sport, a work, whatever it is, I'm going to do the best I can do.
I was in the same thing. Like I worked at Walmart after I graduated high school. I went to Louisiana Tech, and I was working at Walmart too.
Yeah.
My whole day was Louisiana Tech in the morning. At 2:00, I had to be at Walmart till 11:00 at night.
Yeah.
Then try and do some work for school work, and then go to sleep. Get up, be at school at 8. Get off. Go to. It was like that for a while, and I finally got like to the point where I was like, man, I'm so tired of this. So I lied to like the guy at Walmart and said, I'm taking economics.
Yeah.
I would like to count money in the because I was working in like housewares.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm taking economics, and I would like to count the money and the thing. He was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, we need to have an opening in there. They gave me a job in the cash office counting the money.
Right.
And I would count money in this little tiny, this big thing, counting money. You got cameras on your crotch and cameras on. And by the way, this is 97.
Yeah.
97.
Yeah.
98. I'm counting this money, counting the money all night long. Well, it was a fun job because I didn't have anybody looking over my shoulder. I mean, except for the cameras.
Yeah.
But like I was just counting all this money and putting it in all night long. So then I started working from 11 at night to 7 in the morning.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Go to class. No, it was better. And then I would sleep. I would either, when I got out of class, I would do my work and then go to sleep and get up and go to work at night at 11. So like completely changed it. But I got food poisoning about a month into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the hospital for food poisoning for about 2 weeks. And they had to fill that job.
Yeah.
So when they filled that job and they couldn't fire me because I was in the hospital, I almost died from food poisoning.
Jesus.
My face was black. Like my face was black.
What'd you eat?
Ryan's?
No shit.
Ryan's.
Y'all didn't sue him?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I come back to Walmart after being in the hospital for 2 weeks. I look like death.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we had to fill your spot. It's like, you can do whatever you want here. We'll just let you can do whatever. Like, we'll just work you in to do the same hours. And I was like, well, I get paid the same amount of money because I got a kind of a boost when I went to the cash office. And they were like, yeah, you'll make the same amount, of course. We can't do it. You can work anywhere you want. And I said, anywhere? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I'll push carts. So I was probably the only person in America pushing carts for like $15 an hour
in 97.
In 97.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I pushed.
Yeah, that's when people were
carts.
making like $7.
Yeah,
$6.
Well, like seven.
It was $5.15.
I remember when I got my first raise in housewares, they gave me like a 20-cent raise. I was making like $7.25.
Yeah.
So then when I went in the cash, I was like, it went up to like 12 or 15. I can't remember. It was 12 or 15. So it was either 12 or 15. With pushing carts, and I was working full time. Dude, I got so awesome pushing carts. I did the best. Like I always said, I always did the best I could ever do, no matter if it
well,
was
this is what I'm.
carts or
This is what I'm
whatever.
doing. I might as well, I might as well make the best of the day. But when
It was great being outside pushing carts. And we didn't have those little motorized pushers now. We would have like contests where I'd line like 80 of them things up and like just push them all the way.
try to see if you could get them in there.
See if you could get them all in there.
doing strongman contest in the parking lot.
And we had a great. My legs looked awesome. I was tan.
Always
And
outside.
I knew everybody, and I was helping people put stuff in their car, and they were, I was just like everybody like knew me.
Yeah.
Because I was always in the parking lot, and I'm like always been super outgoing.
The friendly car guy.
Yeah, I was super outgoing.
Yes. So I was trying to get out of Lennon like quick, dude. So like it lasted it took me 6 months. But I finally got hired at Captain Avery's, which used to be a restaurant in Monroe. But man, I went to quit to my manager because I'd been asking like, hey, same thing you did, like put me in a different department. Right. I was like, bro, I can't fucking sell sheets. Like this shit is ridiculous. And he's like, oh man, you're so good at it. And I'm like, I'll be good in shoes or menswear or something else, but. So they never would move me because they liked me.
I'll be good wherever you put me.
So I go to quit, and the manager was like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "You've been doing so good." He's like, "Look," he's like, "Man, I could probably pull some strings and bump you to like $7.75 an hour." Because minimum wage I think was $4.75, and I was making like I think we were making $5.15 if I'm not wrong. I think it was $5.15 is what I was making. He was like, "I'll bump you to $7.75," and I'm like, I swear to God, you could say you would pay me $300 an hour, well, and I'm not selling one. I couldn't. I was like, my soul can't take it. He's like, it's not that bad, Ray. I was like, dude, you
don't know.
I was like,
I'm all rock and roll. Bro.
I'm like, sir, you've been here too long or something. But like, yeah, and that was the other thing too. Like, that's not where an 18-year-old.
Dude, you have a family and kids. You are locked in.
Yeah, an 18-year-old metalhead. 18-year-old metalhead fraternity bro does not belong in.
I want to be in the parking lot of an Iron Maiden concert.
Yes, that's exactly where I wanted to be. I did not want to be talking about, and I didn't even know, right? So that's the other thing about selling it. I guess I'm just naturally good at bullshitting.
You can just bullshit people.
Feel
this.
The old lady.
This is better than this, right?
Well, she would be like,
well, you're going to pay just a little bit more.
She's like, do you like these or do you like these? And I would be like, I like the Ralph Lauren. I didn't even have sheets on my bed. I was probably sleeping on a mattress, right? And I'm like, I like the Ralph Lauren ones. And she'd be like, oh, okay. And they just buy them. And I was like, always doing that. Or I'd be, how are these down coats? I didn't even, at that point, I swear to God, I didn't even know what down was.
I can sell anything,
yeah,
by the way.
I didn't even know what down was. I was like, it's so comfortable. I didn't even know what it was.
It's just like paint. It's like, this Ralph Lauren paint. If you buy this paint for $50 a gallon, when you put it on the wall, oh my gosh!
These Ralph Lauren sheets were like, I'm talking, and this is 30 years ago.
Dude, I did buy some Ralph Lauren paint that was amazing.
They were like $180 for like a fitted sheet.
Fitted sheet.
And I'd be like, this is the best one
and
I just knew because it was the most expensive. They would buy it. So sales were good. I made a lot of money from McRae's, not a lot of money for myself. I remember getting my checks, and I'd be like,
dude, you should be making a percentage of that.
Yeah, that's what any sales job should be commissioned, especially if you're having to deal with that misery.
Or you're just like, buy this.
I remember getting my checks, though. I think we got paid weekly in my checks because you make $5.15 an hour, right? So like, even if you work say 37 hours, like $170. So I remember getting checks and being like, that's maybe enough for gas and food court every day, and that'd be like what it was.
Life.
Yeah, living the dream.
Yeah, you're living the dream. You're just constantly in a loop of getting enough money to make it to work and eat.
Yeah, and then it's coincidentally that's kind of the loop you stay in. You just get more bills and stuff, but it's still like, but at least you find stuff to do that you enjoy, right? Like in that until you get well into that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the number is when you quit doing that? 500,000 a year?
What now?
What do you think the number is where you stop just, life is pretty much like you're working to pay bills so you can have a place to live and then you can eat and then you can burn up all that money for the next 13 days and then you can get some more money just to have a roof and eat. What do you think the number is to where you're not doing that anymore? 500,000 a year?
What? No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The number to where you could really do whatever you want and you have like
do whatever you want.
You have pretty much freedom and you're not like just working to keep the roof, the car, the kids, and just not working to keep things going. Like you just
depends on what you like to do in your spare time, really, and your budget.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So a normal American budget. I mean, I think it takes a $250,000.
Let's say two people are married, and they each make $100,000 a year.
I think that's barely middle class now.
That's barely middle class.
I think it's barely
unless you're living below your means in a neighborhood below your.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not really
below what your parents were living in, but you're socking away $20,000 a year. You're socking away $50,000, that's a lot.
No, you're not. You're making if you make $200,000, dude, that's like okay. I don't think that gives you anywhere close to freedom. I think we're just so
Freedom to do what? How much freedom do you need?
Okay, just in general.
Do you need freedom to like be able to go?
I'm saying financial freedom. Look,
take a bass boat out on the weekend.
Mike, that's only $16,000 a month before taxes. If you pay
okay.
37% tax,
Well, guess what?
That's only $10,000 a month. So if the average monthly expense are $5,600, I'm saying you're left with $4,400 for like spending and eating. That's like $110 a day.
Oof.
So basically, that would be enough money. $200,000 for a couple would be enough. You could have houses, cars. You take care of your kids. Obviously, good. You could probably do private education, that type of stuff, and you could go out to eat.
Well, that's middle class.
Go out to eat every night.
That's middle class.
But no, you're not putting
Higher
in
middle class. I would say you make around
500. Yeah, I would say I said 200 is barely middle class. See, but America has middle class as like a family at like 60,000.
Here's the thing:
a family at 60,000 is
once you're making $750 a year, it's gonzo. If you can save your money a couple of years making $750 a year on your own, you got money to be free.
So yeah, that's
a lot of money.
That's what I said. So
a lot of people don't make that.
I know. I said 500.
Look up on your phone what the average
43,000.
It's 43,000. That's poverty.
I know, but you know what? Do you know what they said? Poverty's Harvard did a study this year, 2022. I think it was Harvard. It may have been Yale, but either way, a respected institution did a study on, and they came up with actual middle class for one person is 61,500, or poverty line is 61,500, but the United States government puts the poverty line at 18,000. 18,000 ain't poverty. That's like destitute.
That's you have to be on every government program they have just to be able to buy food.
61,000.
$18,000. Holy crap! Like that's if you make that's like what a kid should make in college going to work.
Yeah,
going to college every year.
Yeah,
man, it's all fucked up.
But I'm saying so 61,000 is poverty. They said the actual poverty line is 61,000. That's where a person could independently of anyone else pay for like their own apartment, their own car, have their own bills, and have no extra money. They'd be right at the poverty line.
Not Ruston.
Not in Ruston, it might be 67,000.
I saw some lady online complaining about how she had to live in West Monroe or whatever, and drive to Ruston and work in Ruston, and she had a good job.
Yeah,
and it was just like she couldn't move to Ruston because the rent was so high, and everybody just started hammering her because it's just like, well, Ruston's a college town, and every single housing in town is for college kids, and mommies and daddies pay for their kids to go to college and live in a house in town.
Yeah.
So if you can't pay it, I guess you're driving here.
Yeah.
To work your job.
The market.
And she was like, it's not fair.
The market's going to do what the market's going to do. But I mean, rents are outrageous across.
It's outrageous here.
Rents are outrageous for what people make, for what Americans make. Okay, the average rent is
right.
The average rent is $2,100 a month in America.
Woo!
That's the average rent of a 2-bedroom apartment in America, $2,100. But the average pay is $43,000. $43,000 after taxes is about $2,900 a month. So you have $800 left for transportation, insurances, medical insurance, life insurance, car insurance.
You don't get any of those.
Vehicle, gas. And then food. You have $800 a month, $28 a day. You're going to spend it's going to take about $1,600. So now you're $800 in the hole. You're $800 in the hole at $43,000 on the average, what the average rent is in America. There's no way we can say that 18,000 is the poverty line. It's no way.
No way.
It's bullshit because we know they put that bullshit number out because they know the wages just don't match where we're at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're still conditioned in 2022. People think like, and I'm not saying I make this much money. I'm saying people are conditioned to think like, oh, $100,000 is like a lot of money because, well, 6 figures was like a good income in 1992, right?
Yeah,
but like $100,000 now ain't what it was.
No, it's not.
$100,000, it just ain't what it was at all. $100,000 is like $35,000 from 1992, right?
Well, you work like 3 months out of the year to pay the government if you're making money.
Yeah, but $100,000
tax-wise.
But $100,000 ain't money. That's my point.
No.
And that's my point about $200,000 is just approaching middle class. 10 or 11,000 a month after taxes, and you're going to get a bigger house. But your money's ate up. You wouldn't be having all this extra.
Bigger house.
You wouldn't have all this extra money at $200,000 for a family.
$200,000 with a family.
You wouldn't have a bunch of extra money
with insurance. What we talk? The nuclear family with insurance, dental.
Like a family should be in America.
everybody-
Like a school should be in
everybody has
America.
a car. Everybody goes to school.
Yes, everybody has a car. Everybody goes to
Ain't
school.
enough money.
It's barely enough. I mean,
Barely.
I did. You know, I did it. I did the 3 kids, private school, the whole shooting match. Like, it's a lot more to get to middle class than people think.
Oh yeah.
Like the number of say 65.
What is the 1%? Is it 250 and more? Is 1%? I think it's 250,000 and more, which sounds low to me to be in the 1%.
But no, because not really. I don't.
Not a lot of people make 250,000.
Not a lot of people make 100. Not a lot of people make 90,000. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Think about everybody you know. And think about, okay, what do they probably make? 58, 62, 47. Think of the numbers you'll come up with. You'll be like, yeah, you don't know that many people that make 250,000.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't a shit ton of money.
Everybody runs around and acts like they make more money than they do, which I'm the opposite. I don't want people to know how much money I make. I do the opposite.
Well, I know.
I don't like people thinking that I make a bunch of money, even though, I don't make a bunch of money.
Especially if it's a facade, right? Like, I think
it's a facade that people just come out of the woodwork like, Mike can pay for our dinner.
I think most people's whole life is a facade.
Is in debt. Debt is a big thing.
Well, debt's huge.
If let's say you make $150,000 a year and your credit
597,000 is the top 1%.
How much?
597.
Oh, wow.
That's the top 1%. So 250 is
wow.
top 5%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. Top
Yeah.
5%.
250 as
587?
597.
597. So
But that-
$600,000.
Yeah, but that's and that's what I said. That's where I said
I
that.
need to start asking for a raise.
You know what's funny though? That's the number I said were real freedoms. You'd still working. You're still working at that number. You're still a slave to someone, but pretty much real freedom starts there. So you get an emergency for 10 grand, no problem. That and 10,000 ain't, you can have a $10,000 emergency tomorrow. Most people don't have $50 though.
Dude, when I was an owner operator truck driver in my little niche thing, I was making so much money it was ridiculous.
And spend.
And I was spending it just as fast. I was an idiot. And I was in my 20s and I never had any money before. And I was buying Hummers and BMWs, and we ate out every freaking dinner.
And how much of that were you able? How much of that were you able to do with cash, not debt?
All of it.
The BMWs, the Hummers,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Was all cash.
Cash.
Then no worries.
But I just blew it. And
Yeah.
I was in my early 20s, middle 20s, little later 20s, making all this money driving.
And that was a lot more money then than it would be
had my
now.
own business.
Be a lot more money then than it would be now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now that money wouldn't go near as far, wouldn't buy near as many
it
things.
wouldn't. But I mean, I was 20. I was in my early 20s, had my own house on 6 acres of land that I bought, had my, and cars. I had cars, motorcycles, all that shit. And then, somewhere along the line, I realized that, none of this shit is, I kind of had, a Buddhism moment where it's, none of this shit matters at all.
It doesn't.
And it's, I'm, have all this stuff, and I'm going in my garage and looking at these 2 motorcycles and the Hummer and the BMW and all that, and I'm like, what do I use? None of it. I don't even ride these motorcycles. I don't even do this. It's it's everything about it was fake. It was I just need this stuff to so when people come over, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go to the liquor store in my 5 Series BMW.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm not into it.
But you do like cars though, right?
I do, but I don't like those kind of cars. Here's the cars I like. I like old beat up Jeeps.
Yeah.
I go buy a Jeep for $5,000. It's an old CJ that barely runs, and tweak on a little bit, and put a bikini. What is that thing called on the top? Not even a real top, a bikini top on the. Ride it around in the rain. I like shit like that. You I don't buy big campers.
Yeah.
Camping.
I'm not into that.
Throw money pits.
That's a way that
huge money.
I feel the same way. You know what I feel the same way about? RVs.
RVs are a huge money pit.
An RV is 120 grand. So let's just think about this, okay? Say 120 grand.
That's a cheap one.
Okay, I could go anywhere in America.
That's a cheap one.
Okay, but let's say 120 grand. You got to let's call it 150.
Bump it up to what they really are.
150.
250.
250. Okay, let's go 250,000. I could go anywhere in America, fly anywhere in America, first class, stay in the nicest Hilton there is.
That's what I've always.
Rent the nicest vehicle in town. Go anywhere. I mean, Vegas, New York City, you name it. Let's say that cost about to do that $8,000 to $10,000 a trip. You'd have to take what 100. Even if it's 10,000, you'd have to take 250 trips before you before you bought the RV.
Let me tell you.
250 trips.
Let me tell you this. My family, big RV people.
Uh-huh.
You know, not me.
Yeah.
But my brother and my dad, big RVs. Every time we ever went anywhere, even if it was brand new RV, something happened to
Something went wrong.
it, and you had to throw money at it.
Like a boat.
It's like a boat. Bust out another 1,000. That's what boat stands for. Boats too.
Yeah.
Boats too. So like every time we went somewhere, Thanksgiving, we're gonna go up and see the family in Ohio. Tires blow, the refrigerator quits working, the everything in them breaks. Even if you buy a $500,000,
It all breaks.
It all breaks.
Wouldn't,
It all breaks.
Wouldn't it be more fun to
Fly there.
charter a jet,
Charter a jet, your whole family,
fly to Ohio,
stay in
everybody
a
chip in
five-star hotel,
everybody stay at a 5-star hotel.
room service.
Yeah. And spend
Meanwhile, we always said this. Where I was just like, we're gonna go to Ohio in this thing, and it's like taking your house with you. You have to clean it. You have to take care of it. You have to do the dishes. You have to do all that. And how much fun is this? And some people love it. I get it.
Do they though?
It's a huge industry.
I know, but this
But
is
it's just like I'm there, right there with you. Like
this is the conversation point. Do they love it or do they pretend to love it? To show off that do they pretend to love? Because it's a worse way
I
to.
think some people don't like staying in hotels. I think some people.
Why would you? It's awesome to stay in a hotel. They take care of you. You're like,
That's
hey,
us.
you're just
That's
like,
not
you're just like,
everyone.
hey, bring me some bottled water.
That's not every.
And
I
they-
know. When we went,
and
to
they're
the
right there.
Bahamas, it was
Hey, I
like-
need some towels.
I like ordering breakfast. I'm like, do you think I'm ordering too much stuff because of it's like all inclusive? And I'm like, do you think I'm ordering too much stuff because I'm like I've got this and this and there's only like 2 more things on the menu, and you call and you say all that and they're like, oh well, wouldn't you like to order the other 2 things? Just eat everything. And you're like, well, yeah, and they're like coming right up.
Yeah.
And like 2 people show up with all these trays.
Exactly.
It's great.
And if you charter a plane, just like you're just chill. You got your own leather chair. You got Wi-Fi.
Yes.
I mean, look, a charter jet's like 15,000. So, but even if you fly first class, yeah,
So if the first class,
you could even charter a plane that would be cheaper than the RV.
if you're going somewhere for more than 2 weeks, you got to fly first class. That's all there is to it. You got to pay the extra just to get there, especially if you're going far. If
you're going far.
If you're jumping somewhere, if you're going to the Bahamas, don't worry about first class. You're going to be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. Save your money to when you get there. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
sure.
But if you're going overseas, like over the Atlantic, or you're flying to Hawaii, you might as well chalk up.
Have you
that-
been overseas? Have you flown overseas for vacation?
Never.
Me neither.
Just Bahamas.
Only-
That's not overseas.
The only
though.
time I've only been out of the
I could
country with the
swim to the
military,
Bahamas.
and that was I built schools and roads in Belize. So I've never been any
God
further.
bless
Never
you.
been any further than Belize.
God bless you.
Yeah, that's the. I've never been. I'd like to go to Europe though. I think Europe would be cool. I think it'd be a cheap trip too. Once you get there,
People are friendly, I hear.
are they?
I hear people are friendly.
Do they like Americans? I don't think we're douchebags.
No, we're gonna wear Canada shirts.
No, I'm not. Fuck that.
I'm kidding.
Fuck that.
You remember that? I just remember that on a on an American Dad episode. They go to Europe or whatever, and he slaps a Canadian sticker on the fishbowl of Klaus, and he's like, "This will help us out a lot better."
I just wonder if they.
No, wait. Maybe not Europe, but like the book I'm reading, all the books I read where people like travel on bike across to like Asia, like all those places, like Kyrgyzstan or whatever they're called. Everybody's like super friendly. They feed you. They ask you to come stay with them. Maybe not Europe so much. Maybe not Europe.
I just think people, but I think people have the wrong impression about Americans. I think they think because imagine what they consume on TV. They only see the worst of America, right? Like the stereo. They don't see stereotypes
what do we see about Europe? What do you
stereotypes.
think about Europe? Stereotypes.
I like Europeans. I think I like most people. I can find a way to
I would
like most
probably
people.
go to Europe and be like, how can I live here? You know what I mean? Like, there's probably way better living everywhere else. Like, just not way better living, but I'm really glad.
Rooms are
I'm born in
small.
America.
Everything's small, and you're a big dude.
So it's like New York.
Everything's little. Yeah, you probably didn't like New York because everything's little, right?
New York
like
sucks. I hate New York.
New York City or the whole
New
state.
York City.
Yeah, the state's cool. It's like farmland
State's
and nice.
cool, but New York City's the worst. I can't stand it. I've been
Just
there a
too
bunch.
much?
It's just, it just sucks. I just don't like it. I
I don't think I'd like it at all.
The only reason you would want to be in New York or live in New York is if you were super wealthy or rich and you could do it. That's it.
Well, that's the whole thing about anything, really. Like that's the whole crux of the conversation, right? Like you can't. I don't. How do regular people? How does like the guy that just like
I've been
sells
to people that live in New York and they live in a room this big and you can cook eggs in the morning while taking a dump on the toilet, like right. But no, I'm not. This is not a joke.
Oh, I know.
You're on the toilet. You're on the toilet, and you could just like cook eggs beside you. While you're on.
I had a friend and his wife in our early 20s who moved to New York City and had a 200 square foot room above
a partition,
above a 24-hour pizzeria,
with a partition that their bed was in the other part, and they called it a 2-bedroom apartment.
Above a 24-hour pizzeria, like here's the pizzeria, they're right on top of it. They were paying 22 years ago $2,800 a month.
That's right.
So now that's probably $6,000 a month for a room the size of the studio.
New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
That sounds like a utter nightmare to me.
Oh, it's a nightmare. That's why I hate it. I hate New York. I can't stand it.
I love Vegas though. Vegas.
Never been.
We should
Never
go.
been. We got to go. Here's what we got to do when we go to Vegas. There's
Let's
a
all
thing
go.
where you
Let's
get
meet.
to fly an airplane and like dogfight.
Yeah.
And it's like $1,000. And this is what Joe.
Let's take Adrian and Callie and go one time this next year.
And Joe's gonna go with us because he wants to. Maybe my brother, so we can all do the dog fighting because they have a guy behind you that if you mess up, he just like takes over control of the airplane. You're really flying the airplane and like dog fighting for $1,000, and it's like NASA people that are like it's like commanders, like Air Force commanders that are retired.
Yeah,
and it's like their business, and you just go over the desert. And you're just like flying an airplane, shooting each other down with like fake lasers.
Oh, that would
laser tag in the air.
Badass.
$1,000. So save up because
I'm
not going to Vegas. If I'm going to Vegas, I'm flying a fucking airplane.
Well, you got to go. You go to Vegas. You got to do the whole strip thing. You got to do Fremont Street. You got to do the. You got to go to some. You got to go to some stand-up comedy shows. You got to go to some live music. You got to go do all the events that are in Vegas, and then you got to go do stuff like fly the helicopter through the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
And then we'd have to go fly the fighter jets. Holy shit!
The jets well, they're not. I don't think they're jets. I think they're one propeller planes.
Oh, they're even cooler.
Yeah, yeah, they're like the old timey propeller planes.
It's like World War II planes.
Yeah,
oh
like
my
that.
god!
I think it's like that. Maybe a little bit more advanced than that, but
yeah.
That's what they're not jets.
I can, but I love gambling so much, so I can just go to Vegas and just if I've got the funds, when I go and I have the funds, I can really have fun for a long time.
But they like take off. They'll take off, and then they're like, "It's all you. That guy and that guy's your enemy. Shoot him down." And you're like, brr, brr. And it's me and you fighting each other and like being the top dog.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If I win that, I'm gonna get like. If I win that, I'm getting like a Top Gun jacket and wear it every time I'm around you.
If Joe goes with us, he'll win.
Will he?
He did the simulator of the shuttle and landed it 3 times. If they give you a book that tells you how to do it, he'll memorize the book and kill us all in like 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
So, did you land the spacecraft?
No, I wasn't he was the commander of that one, and when you do the shuttle mission on the at Space Academy, they do the commander is actually the pilot, and the pilot is actually the second guy. It's like so the commander flies, the pilot's the secondary, and then I was somebody, I was like communications, blah blah blah, whatever, because they just gave it to us randomly, and Joe got to be the commander, so he got to fly it. But they threw everything they could at him on the simulator. They even put him on the last one. They gave him pitch and all, and he landed it. And they even the thunderstorm, and they made him turn around. They said you can't land at Cape Canaveral. You're gonna have to land in Flat Sands, do a 90-degree burn, turn, and land at Flat Sands. And the space shuttle doesn't go up; it just falls like a brick.
Yeah.
There's no lift to it. So like he just like pitch and awed his feet, turned it around from Florida and landed it in where's Flat Sands, New Mexico?
I think so.
Landed it at the base in Flat Sands, New Mexico. And
Does it feel like you're on a? Did it feel like you're on a actual spacecraft?
Yeah, everything's like rumbling, and there's screens that are like windows.
I don't imagine the sim because I've been in just like amusement park simulators and they're great. So this is like
this is NASA. So like
NASA.
when you blast off, you're like it's like going and like and it goes up into space when you blast out, and like the screens like go from like blue to black, and then there's like stars, and you can like look out. It was neat. It was neat.
Trippy. Dude.
It was neat.
That's bad.
And then you land it, and then he kept landing it so easily. They threw him all those hard things, and then they were like, we all had like headsets
Switch
on.
to you. Nobody can see you.
Oh, And then they had like all the headsets on, and he was like, and after he landed that one where they had like a big storm in Florida, and he turned around and landed in Flat Sands, they were like, "Do you want a job with us?" Yeah. It's like, well, they don't have the space shuttle anymore. But but here's the thing: they started throwing it, and like he memorized the code book, and there's like a dial thing that looks like an old phone, and like he was like he from his memory just remembered how to like fix and dial everything out on that, and like cleared everything out, and then just like landed it, and it was like this. I mean, also Joe's like a genius.
Yeah, clearly he's a smart guy.
Smart guy.
But that is, I don't know, that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to win.
He's also smart like this. You'd be talking to him on the phone, and you'd be like, "Hey, man, yeah, I'm doing it the new way. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it the new way. The young guy way.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, hey, Mike, I gotta go, and I can't find my phone, so I gotta find my phone, and I gotta get out of here. And I'm like, you're on your phone with me. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, bye.
So so really smart people could be like that sometimes.
Yeah, totally. You're on your phone.
Is that
yeah.
Is that a real thing that happened?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, that's great. I was like, well, you're on your phone.
Well, we need to get our money up and get to Vegas and go do this flight thing.
It.
We'll do it in
summertime. Good for Vegas?
I hope so.
Or what's a good time to go to Vegas?
Oh man, anytime. The weather's always good. Don't go in the middle of the summer. It's too hot.
Too hot.
But like, maybe we could go spring 2024 or something like that. Because spring 2023 is going to be here too soon. I know I'm not going to be able to go. Maybe 2024 though. We need to make that happen.
Hey, in 2020, you have to go with us. Joe's coming over here. John's coming over here. We're gonna go find our spot in Texas or in Arkansas in 2024 for the eclipse.
Oh, okay.
For the full eclipse.
Is there a better spot in Texas or something where
Well, we won 100%, so we got to go to Texas, or it's going to cut through Texas and Arkansas. So either we go west.
Oh, you're going to go when it's happening. We're going to go watch the eclipse. Oh, I'm down. I'm down with that.
Watch. Have you ever seen it in its total 100%?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm just going to say right now, you have not.
Yeah.
If you haven't.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh yeah, I saw where it blah blah blah. No, we went and saw the total.
You've done this before?
Yes, in Georgia the last time, a couple years ago. This will be the last one, I think.
In our lifetime?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That we don't. Well, it happens all the time, all over the globe.
Right.
But this will be one that's the closest one in our lifetime that we won't have to travel somewhere else. So this is the one to make it.
So what's it look like when the whole thing?
So when the whole thing happens, you're looking up, and it goes over it. Once it gets to the point, you can take the glasses off so you're not blind, and you just see there's a purple color just radiating out behind it. You can see that. It's amazing, and everything gets real dark.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like right when it happens, the shadows on the ground get really strange looking. The color of the earth, everything around you, all the colors get really odd looking. I've got it on video from when we were in the middle of a
You can pull that up?
field. I can't pull it up right now.
No,
I'll upload it and then I'll pull it up and we can.
We get off the air. I want to see it
because I might have to dig for it. But
send it to me when you find it.
It is incredible, and people that are like, "Oh yeah, it was blah blah blah." No, you got to be in the 100% totality.
So what are we? Where we're at? We're like in that 92% or 87%.
Here we're not. We're not in. We're not. We have to go to right across into Texas or go north because it's going to make a swash from Texas into Arkansas. So we've got to find out where. There's a map where it's going to be. So we just need to go camp out or go somewhere where there's not a lot of lights. The other thing that's a problem is you got to make sure that you can see it and there's no cloud coverage. So we got to go somewhere where there's not a lot of clouds all the time. When we were in Georgia and we went and saw it in North Georgia, it got real cloudy right before it happened and people started leaving. And we were on a field in North Georgia at some college. It wasn't like a big college. I don't know. It was smaller than Tech here. But people started leaving. And then right before it happened, the clouds cleared and it happened perfectly. And we were just like, it was awesome. Dude, it was amazing.
We still also have to go to Mississippi to the Crossroads.
We have to do.
We just got to do that one weekend. We can just hop in the car on
hop in
Saturday.
the car and go do that.
Yeah, like
Hey, let me get
Let's do that.
That'd be a cool motorcycle ride.
yeah.
Like, let me go get my motorcycle and we'll yeah. You got your motorcycles?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
You never ride that mother. Why don't you ride it over here?
I ride it.
Ride it over here one time when we're doing this.
I
Take a
think
look at it.
I think I will
I'm thinking I'm gonna buy another one.
buy you one so we can go ride.
I've got a XX Blackbird.
Yeah, you've got a bad.
Florida.
You got a. I've just got a Ninja 400. You've got like a rocket ship.
Well, it's a liter bike.
Yeah.
It was the fastest bike in '98. That was a long time ago. Then they just started making more CCs. Like the Hayabusa made a bit. Then Kawasaki did a 1400 CC, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's just ridiculous. So it's like you can make a bike that's the fastest production bike on the planet. Just keep adding CC.
Yeah,
The
just
engine is bigger.
just make it bigger. Yeah.
Just make it bigger. But this one's like on that sweet spot where it's a liter bike and you can get in the turns with it and it's all black. I actually I took it to Bike Week one year, which was a big mistake because it was before everybody was just like, oh yeah, we ride whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you're not. Which I do have a Harley too, but
This was back whenever
this was back when it was super Harley time.
Yes.
And we parked
Only
like,
these got no sport bikes. Yeah, no crotch rockets.
I just rode my crotch rocket. I rode that bike just for funsies. Somebody kicked a dent in my tank with their boot while we were at we were in some bar in Daytona. Somebody kicked it. They like I walked up to my bike and somebody had put their heel into the tank.
What a douche! Because you drove a sport bike,
because I was on a Honda CBR 1100 XX.
See, I like them both. Why can't we like what we like? Why can't people
I like them both?
It's just like it's like the metal community. Why can't I like Iron Maiden and like Prince? Like I can. Why can't I like sports bikes and cruisers? I can. Like it's people are so stupid.
It's I like Honda Goldwings. Like if I wanted
to
cruise the country for comfort and just awesomeness, I would buy a Goldwing.
But then Harley people would shit on you for having a Honda.
Shit on me for having a Goldwing.
And then sport bike people are shit. But now I've noticed like now
I think everybody's a little better about it.
People are better now.
I think people are just like, you're on two wheels, man.
I get the wave. No matter if somebody's passed me on a cruiser or whatever, you get the wave. And I used to be like that when I had a cruiser. When I had a Vulcan, I wouldn't really wave to sport bike guys. Like 20 years ago, I had a Vulcan. I'd just be right.
Vulcans are cool.
Oh yeah, man. And then
you're on two wheels. Bro.
Yeah, but somebody passed me on a sport bike, I'd be like, this fucking douche. Like I was kind of like that. But that was a long time ago, and I think people have evolved.
People like to be in like their groups.
Yeah.
We like to group up.
Yeah.
Even in that's a sub-genre group. It's
I think maybe because
everybody on motorcycles, and then there's like Harleys. Then there's like sports bike guys. And then even in that, you got your Goldwing guys. Even though they're riding a Honda, then that guy's on the old man on the Goldwing. And then you've got like the guys that are on Indian motorcycles. And then it's just like ridiculous.
Like music used to be like that. Like it used to just be like punks were here. Like when I was coming up big, punks and metalheads in the same venue, there was going to be a fight. Like there was going to be a fight. They hated each other. But when it's the same deal, right? But now everybody can just go and have fun. Or even hardcore guys and punk guys. If you were at shows and there were hardcore guys and punk guys, there's going to be a fight because hardcore and punk, they hate each other.
What's your insurance like with a bike?
Like I don't know, like
it's nothing.
$9, $32, $41. It's like something set up on auto. It's a small enough amount that I don't have any money and I don't notice it. So
that's good.
Yeah, so it's a pretty small amount.
I think I'm gonna buy me like a beater to beat around town on here.
That'd be cool.
It's just for fun.
Get you like a 1988 Honda Shadow.
No, just like a 1998 Harley Davidson, like.
Bro, you'd be working on it every week. A 25-year-old Harley?
No, man, they're all right in the 98 to 2000.
Well, 2000. I thought they got all right about 2010, 2012.
No, that's kind of a misconception.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can get like a 2001, is it like a Dyna? Like a Dyna. Like you can get one of those and just beat around town on it.
Yeah.
It's going to leak and it's going to be, whatever, but like, you don't want to go on a long trip on it.
Right, yeah.
I'm talking about going down to the bar and having a beer and coming home.
Oh, yeah.
But I also just want to buy like a liter bike. I want to get like a Kawasaki Ninja 1000 RR
for
$18,000 and then just like beast around town on that motherfucker. Because I see all these kids like riding around in college that now that they're selling like these bikes that are like 350 Ninjas. Or they're the
they have the 250.
It's a 250. That's
then the 300.
300 and the 300. I'm too big for that bike. I'd look like a monkey fucking a football.
I think you could get on it though. When you lose weight, you'd look fine on it because it's their normal height. The 300 and the 300 actually
They're normal height.
Oh yeah.
Well, then what about an 883? What about an 883 like
Roadster or Sportster? I mean,
Sportster.
Yeah, I think you could fit on that.
But I'll be all right on that.
Honda makes a good little one. That's a
Rebel.
The Rebel.
The Rebel looks cool as shit.
Seen the new Rebel?
But here's my problem.
I like it a lot.
Here's my problem.
What?
It's not a Harley. And I'm kind of falling in that thing where I either got to have a Harley or a sports bike.
Yeah, you'd save like $6,000 and get the same thing.
Well, here's the other thing. Honda also makes the Fury, and it looks badass. It looks like
what's wrong with it?
It looks like a custom bike.
Like
it's a V-twin.
The Honda Rebels.
It's a V-twin.
The Honda Rebels every bit this. It's real close to a Sportster. It's not.
Is.
I mean, what's really the difference? The name.
The name and where it's made. Look, I've been going to bike night here for like 3 years, and if I pulled up on a Honda, they would probably just...
I know, but if you like it, you ought to be able to do it.
I know, that's the problem.
We got to get.
I'm stuck in that. It's a Rustin thing. It's a world thing.
It's a world thing. I think I'm really out of it.
Are you out of it? You're gonna pull up on like a KXZ,
I will do or say anything that
road and dirt bikes.
I will do or say or support anything I like in front of anybody. I don't give a fuck.
What about one of those like Honda Africa bikes?
I would ride
those
it.
Are awesome.
If I no, I don't
My
like
friend
it.
Has one
if
of
I
those.
liked it, I would ride it, and I wouldn't give a shit.
My friend has one of those,
but I used to would have.
I rode it all over North Louisiana on these back roads on his like Africa bike. You know, like those. What are they? Dual, whatever. What are they? Like a adventure bike.
Yeah, they go on road, off road.
On road, off road. I rode all over. I borrowed it from him and rode all over North Louisiana, and it was so much fucking fun. I want to buy one, and they're cheap.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? But yeah, I like those. So I would pull. Yes,
I got on the interstate. I did 100 mile an hour on it, and it wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah, I would pull up on that. Why not?
And it was so much fun because like all these roads are shit. All these shitty roads in North Louisiana and the back roads, they're all shit. And you could just like ride, and they're very quick and agile. Like you're like whoop, whoop, whoop. And if you hit one in a Harley, you'd be like gank, and it'd just be like, could you come get me my shit broke on my Harley?
Well, yeah, because they've got better suspensions. Obviously, they're built for truck.
Bike night on a fucking Honda Africa.
I would. I wouldn't. I would not.
To get over that.
I would not have 20 years ago. I would today. I would for the past decade. Like I just don't give a shit. Like I would.
Or just, like a BMW K2000 touring bike.
Just like I used to wouldn't have said I liked Prince.
I say that right?
I wouldn't have said I liked Prince 20 years ago.
I love Prince.
I know.
My mom saw Prince.
But you weren't. But you weren't like.
Did I say this?
But you weren't like a metalhead, so you weren't in that weird deal.
Did
you
I say this once before on the podcast where I was like, where you had Friday night videos back in the late 80s, mid 80s?
We've talked about that before.
And my mom like came downstairs. You know they're like super Christian-y and like Baptist, Southern Baptist. My mom comes downstairs and Prince is like, "Be you in a picture, in a dance and a kiss." And my mom looks at the TV and she's like, "He has Satan in his eyes. I can see Satan in his eyes." And she was probably right.
Prince has Satan in his eyes? Why?
I don't know.
What's Satan about Prince?
I don't know, but she was just like, Prince is Satan. He has Satan in his eyes.
He's super talented.
No one should be watching this right now.
What was he doing? He was singing When Doves Cry. You were just singing When Doves Cry. It wasn't like you were singing Darling Nikki.
No, it was on Friday Night Videos. It was like the video where it was like just this normal video in the 80s where he was like I know. No in the world is so cold. You know, like that. Like
yeah, I'm saying I don't understand where your mom saw Satan. It wasn't like you were watching Slayer Seasons in the Abyss.
She has the devil in it. He has the devil in his eyes. That's what she said that.
But
and we laugh about it now. She thinks it's funny now.
Yeah.
We're also talking about.
Why did she say she thought that?
We're also talking about. She won't. You know what I think? I'm not going to say why. I'll tell you after this why I think, but I'm not going to say it now because one day she may see this, but I'm not going to say it.
Right.
But like she also, we went to the mall and I bought in the late 90s. No, early 90s. I bought Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah.
And it had the parental advisory thing. And we got down the road. Like, we got like 15 minutes from the mall. And she turned around and went back and took the CD back after she saw it.
Yeah, I remember you told me that
Yelled
story. I'd have been mortified.
at
Yeah.
him. Oh my God!
Because you know this is like a 17-year-old clerk. You're like a 12-year-old kid.
I'm a 12-year-old kid.
So this guy's cool. Like this is like
super cool.
The teenager. Here I am, this dorky little kid, and now my mom's making me. I'm not cool enough to even have the CD, and I got to stand here while my mom lectures you about. And you know the dude's thinking like this fucking Karen, and you got to sit there and be like humiliated. Oh God!
Totally.
I have secondhand embarrassment as a former 12-year-old.
I think that's why I tried so hard to become a rock star my whole life. I was just like, I'm gonna do that. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. What did you do? Just stand there with your hands in your pockets?
Oh, we just went back in. I was just like, and my mom was just like,
she
was like,
chastised him, right?
Why would you sell this to a child? It says parental advisory on it, and it says sex right on the cover, and magic, and those are two things that we don't agree with. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm surprised I made it here. Blood, sugar, sex, magic.
Now,
It's magic.
I could see my mom wouldn't have liked stuff like that she didn't like stuff like that when I was 12. But oh my God, if she'd have brought it back to the record store, I'd have died.
We took it right back.
I would have died. My mom would have. She would have done the same thing if she.
The word, like some of the "suck my kiss."
Yeah.
This isn't something you should be listening to. It says "suck my kiss."
Yeah.
Is one of the songs, and I'm 12.
Yeah.
Or 11, 12.
You were 11 when that came out.
11 when that came out, and it was just like it was so embarrassing. And then I blamed her later. I wasn't that good of a musician because I didn't get to listen to that when I was 11. I was joking.
Oh yeah.
If I would have listened to that, I would have been a beast on the guitar earlier.
You turned out pretty good at it, so maybe she knew what she was doing.
I am going to take this room and I'm going to rearrange this room. And we're going to do it in a different way, and I'm going to set up my music equipment because I'm about to record some music. I'm going to write 5 songs and put 5 songs on Spotify.
You're gonna actually release them?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! That's.
It's gonna be bad.
Let me come do the guest bongos.
Do it. I'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah,
I'll show you how to do whatever you can.
No, let me add. Let's add. Let me.
But I'm gonna play the drums and the guitar and the bass and sing it.
Let's do one. Let's do one song together.
Do one song together.
Yeah.
I'll do one song. We'll do the first one together.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do one song together. I've got.
I don't know what genre.
I don't either. Maybe
I could do it in many genres.
I don't know what I'm going to do on it, but maybe I'll sing or hum or harmonica.
I'm going to have you play some drums.
I'll play some drums, yeah.
Or like, what are drums? Like, just like something.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I could go like
we'll make it sound cool.
I don't know if I'm gonna like super artsy with it and be weird.
I know how to make something
I'm
sound.
just gonna like do straight up punk music talking about the government. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I am gonna incorporate that 8-string guitar because I bought it and I'm gonna fucking use it.
I write country songs. I know we're not doing that. So
we can do country songs.
I write a bunch of them.
If you want to write some country songs, well, here's the thing about your country songs: we could get Bo to sing them. If you write them, I'll play them and you sing them. The funny thing is like I would like to do like funny country songs. Funny.
The last one I did, I was actually Loretta Lynn's guitar player, and Loretta Lynn just died, but her guitar player sang on it on that one.
Really?
It's my favorite one that
you wrote.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's called Nowhere Song. You should check it out.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you'll hate it because it's country, but
well, no, look, I want to do like who does like parody country songs, like Tenacious D country songs. Who does that?
There's a comedian that does it.
But it's really good.
Oh, it's really good. You've heard the pandering song?
No.
Okay, as soon as we get off of here.
Oh yeah, the pandering song. Yeah. You told me about.
Did you ever listen to it?
No, we don't want to do it like that. We want to do it like a Tenacious D type thing.
That's what this guy does.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna show it to you when we get off the air, which we're about to do because we're like an hour and a half.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we're
at an hour and 22 minutes. Peace.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. That was fun and fast.
The next time
fun and fast.
Yeah, it was fun. The next time we do this, I'm going to set this up differently. Maybe I'll have like some guitars behind us or whatever. We'll get rid of the green screen.
But we've got a song coming out soon, so let's stay tuned. It's going to be good. And check out Nowhere Song. I released it 5 years ago, but I like it.
Yeah, good deal. Bye.
Bye.